In this episode,
a military-issued one that has the KM2 head that can go from IR to white light.
I've got like one of the old school ones that's like, I don't know, it's like 6 inches, 8 inches long.
That is, you're showing me about 10. Right there,
yeah, it's probably about that long. But don't forget that Olight is the only flashlight company with confirmed kill.
Did you remove all those videos from your YouTube channel?
I
before
did.
you start talking about it?
I did, yeah.
The SIG 320 has killed more people accidentally than an Olight has ever. Like Olights have ever.
I mean,
in an obtuse world, Mark and Jefe will combine military, law enforcement, and general FUD knowledge to keep you vertical. Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for joining us on Season 2, Episode 2 of Live, Laugh, LARP podcast. I am joined, as usual, with my co-host, Jefe. How's it going, Jefe?
It has been 2 glorious snow days that I've spent with my kid, so locked up in a house, a little cabin crazy, but at least we're out here. We're out and about now, and
yeah. So we actually had about 3.25 little hands of snow.
So
that's
what's
like
in
that's
American?
8.5 inches.
Okay.
So instead of doing the measurement for like a horse, they do the hands,
Yeah,
right? So Nan's got the little hands, and that's her thing. She likes to measure the snow with the
In the Trump hands.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we hope that you are doing fabulous where you guys are. Hopefully it is warm, sunny.
It isn't. Most of the U.S. got hit by what we got.
No.
Today is the 10th.
Yeah.
Let me check my phone. Yeah.
Yep.
Today's
We're
the 10th,
recording
so
on
it's
10th.
the Iowa caucuses today. Super Tuesday or no?
Nice. Wonderful.
So
I'm paying no attention to that.
Well, it's crazy because it dumped just as much as it did out there as it did here. So
Right on.
just watching all the footage has been glorious because people are driving tour buses through it and surprised that they get stuck.
Yeah, right. So I've spent the last 2 days working from home as well, and I'm putting that in air quotes, but getting some things accomplished. Got a video out today, which
But
was
the ammo
nice.
prices,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I meant to watch that. I haven't yet.
Yeah, it's just, it's something simple that I saw that a buddy of mine was running a channel called Smash Time down in Houston. He does it down in that local area, or if he's driving by a Bass Pro Shop or something, he'll stop and just go in and see what prices are.
This is how fun this was. So the first time I saw it, I was scrolling through stuff to find on YouTube for my kid and I to watch. And I scrolled, and I didn't even see what channel it was. I saw that picture you had.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's, it's like, oh, it's clickbaity. And then I kind of took a second to look at that picture. I'm like, hey, that looks very familiar. I know exactly where this is at.
Exactly
and then I saw it was your video. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what academy that's from.
Yeah. So anyway, it is. Did you see the weather? What it's supposed to do next weekend?
No.
I know we're way off tangent here, but next Saturday, like a week from this Saturday,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like 57. The next day, 20 degrees.
And then that's the day we leave for shot.
It is.
The day we leave for shot, it's. Did you see what the weather's supposed to be out in Vegas at all?
Oh no, I didn't look, but I'm
This
sure
is gonna be
there's-
our last, like for
Yeah,
a little bit,
yeah.
our last station podcast.
I think I'm as far as the record schedule goes, I think I'm going to be able to get things set up in such a way that as soon as we're done with shot, so like a week after this comes out, I should be able to get another podcast loaded, and then we should be hopefully, depending on your schedule, we should be good to go on.
Are we
going
allowed
for
to
the
talk
first.
about who we're bunking with now?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay.
So on Instagram, I put out a live chat or a stream, whatever you want to call it, with AK Quality Enforcement, and he's going to be there. He's bunking with us, which is going to be cool.
It's gonna get weird.
It's going to be weird. Nah,
To answer his question, I don't know if he listens or not. We more do like the north-south position. We don't do spooning. I think it's just a little bit more fair to everybody if north-south is kind of the correct position for two men.
Yeah, it's now
we
it's
do need an east and west though. So.
It is. It's one bed, 3 guys. So that's a searchable term. Go ahead and look that up on Google.
Term safe search shop.
But we are going to be heading out to SHOT Show here in just a little bit, so we're kind of excited
Isn't
about
there
that.
a third person staying with us? Or fourth?
No, they had to back out.
Okay.
So unfortunately, there are some health concerns with some family, so they had to back out on that one. So it's just back to the three of us.
Okay.
Unless someone else comes along,
Just the three of us.
But it's going to be a good time. I think we've got a couple different like after party social events things going on. We have some opportunities to hang with some new people. Hopefully,
hopefully.
there might even be an opportunity to hang with like Mike. I don't know. Good old GT. We might run into
unless
him.
he doesn't like die this year.
I know, right? Yeah, he
last
was
year
really sick.
he got real sick.
Yeah, he was.
He ate the.
Didn't he like go to the hospital?
Yeah, he went to the hospital for like 2-3 days, and then I remember it was probably like Wednesday when we didn't. When I say we ran into him, like I was at I think the like Amend 2 booth, and you could see him over what booth he was at. Primary Arms, wasn't he?
Primary Arms, yeah.
Yeah, Primary Arms, so you could see him through the sea of people, and you're like, well, I guess he didn't die, or he did.
Yeah, he's there.
And there's a stunt double.
We also may have an opportunity to hang out with Print, Shoot, Repeat. That might be something that we get to do, so that'll be pretty cool.
Mad lad.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna do if he's gonna kind of do like an admin results thing. Like there's a few people that know he's there and he's unmasked, or he's gonna mask up the entire time.
I would love to see him in character the entire time. I think that would be awesome.
Now I want to see the real PSR.
Yeah.
I want to see what's
the
underneath
man
that
behind
mask.
the mask. No one cared who I was until I put the mask on. But before we get any further, we have to naturally pay a little bit of the bills and say a huge thank you to Atero Arms. Man, I tell you what, I have really enjoyed all of the products that they've put out, especially their AK rear red dot sight mounts. That's a lot to say there, but we've talked about it on each and every single one of the podcasts. They're a really cool group of guys over there who are putting out some
Group of guys?
Guy, whatever.
Group of guy.
I don't know how many people
flock of
actually
guy.
work for them, right?
That's
It
right.
could be a herd. I don't know. Maybe
A
there's
murder.
murder. I was going to say that too, yeah. But I do appreciate the products that they are putting out because it did kind of fill a bit of a gap for AK red dot sight mounts.
Yeah, and it's one of those. And I think I go on my tangent every single time. When I had my AKs, I was just flipping mad about it's either you buy Zetecos, Dogleg. I mean, Midwest Industries comes out with their stuff now, but you're still paying $180. RS Regulate is still like $140, $160.
Yeah, depending on
And
the
that's a
combination.
side mounted,
Yeah.
and it's not like you could still push down on that, and it's kind of jank. I don't want to say jank, but it's just not the most sturdy amounts. But then I got my Atera and I threw it on my rifle, and it was
Yeah, it's quick,
Chef's
easy
kiss.
install. Yeah, so
yes, I did. As a guy who's 90% of his armoring skills is Dremels and sledgehammers, it was super easy for me to install.
yeah. And what's even sad is I learned most of my gunsmithing from Jefe. So, but realistically, again, we do appreciate Otero supporting the podcast, and hopefully they stick around for quite a bit. And once again, Otero, hopefully we'll get our J-frame optics mount.
Yep.
Yep.
Acro.
So-
You know what? I'll even take like any RMSC. I'll take any
Okay,
sort of mount.
There you go.
I'm not.
All right.
I'm not picky.
All right, we'll keep our ear to the ground, as the indigenous used to say. All right, so let's get into
First Peoples.
Yeah, the first. Yes, that's right. So let's get into the episode. We've gone 8.5 minutes already, and we don't even know what we're talking about. But we are going to be talking about lights, and specifically the idea of a weapon-mounted light versus a handheld light. And this is actually going to dive into some pretty pertinent information, especially to Jefe, because he will hopefully maybe doing some low light training here pretty soon.
Yeah, I bought my. I mean, it's a 4. I hate saying this. It's like a 4-hour course but I paid $120 to go take. But it's with Chuck Haggard.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
I think you're really going to enjoy it. So, but I've taken that class once before. He does talk about.
Oh, so you're not going?
I mean, I may. I don't know. When was it again?
Actually, it's next Sunday.
Oh yeah. No, that's the pocket rocket. I thought.
Nope. So next Sunday is the handheld, and then this week we come back from shot. Like the week that Sunday is the pocket rocket course.
I see. Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna. No, I can't do it. I remember I can't do it because I'll be in Kansas City.
Oh yeah,
That's what it was. Yeah. So, but anyway, there was a video that Jefe shared with me regarding why this one individual, YouTuber, GunTuber, whatever you want to say, has decided to go kind of away from weapon-mounted lights and solely handheld lights. And I thought this would be a great topic to dive into a little bit. So, what's your position? Where do you stand? And I think I have a good retort because I know where you're going.
So the two videos, it's actually two videos now that I saw recently.
Okay.
That I wanted to get out it was Wise Man Companies had a video about not having a handheld light on, or not having a weapon mounted light, and relying more heavily on a handheld compared to a weapon mounted light. And then Honest Outlaw actually had a video just recently about concealed carry guns. There's like top 5, and he kind of just interjected. He's like, if you notice, there's no optics or lights on these guns. This is how I prefer to carry them. He gives like a very just kind of off the cuff response to it, but to kind of keep some continuity, my usual spiel is, if you look at like a buy list for the average civilian, duty grade handgun that you can conceal carry, tons of mags, duty grade rifle with a light, tons of mags, and then the rest is all training. That should be like the basis of it.
So you're not like holding your AR with the FBI.
No,
you know,
I mean
the
you
modified
can,
FBI,
or you can. There's ways to do it, but the handheld light, I think, is going to be a lot more useful for the average everyday civilian than a weapon mounted light. And we can go into but I want to hear your retort, or what's your thought process on it?
Well, my thing is, why not both? You know, you have the ability to have a handheld light to do any type of searching that you're going to be doing anyway, because you shouldn't be, looking for something with your gun drawn,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
It depend, situational dependent, right? And then you should also have a light on your firearm, because if I'm drawing my firearm, I want to have the ability to either use my handheld or a light on my firearm. If I'm drawing down on something, that means that I am prepared or going to shoot at something. I still want to have the ability to positively identify that object. Let's say I'm in a well-lit room where I am right now, and there's a dark area behind us, which there is.
There's
right?
That's where all the spooky monsters
right?
live.
There's some glass breaking in there. Obviously, there shouldn't be anybody breaking glass in the back of my house. So they come in, I've got my gun drawn and my light's on, or ready to be turned on, because that tells me that someone's trying to get into this house that shouldn't be, and they're getting ready to get spun up.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of how I see it. I want to definitely have a handheld light, which thanks to Mission First Tactical, here's a little plug
MFT.
for them.
Okay.
Yeah, MFT. They've got their Acro 10-liter bag that I've been carrying as like a Merce. I've got a entire IFAK in there. I've got a backup EDC. I've got a handheld light in there. I usually carry, my car keys and various other things in there as well. And I have the ability to obviously reach in and grab my handheld light and use that. But I also want a light on my firearm so that I can use that as well. Just a force multiplier, in my opinion.
So the retort to your retort,
It's retort squared.
Yeah, retort squared. Is that why? Yes, it's good to have both. I would say if you have the opportunity and can do it, carry both. The issue is the training. We're going to go back down to the training, because what's going to happen a lot of times is there's a definite time when people need to have lights and guns pointed at them, and there's a time when they don't need lights and guns pointed at them. And if you are as some people only carry a weapon-mounted light, that time is every time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be doing searching, if you're going to be doing, and this is kind of, I'm talking this in a solely civilian self-defense shooting, home defense shooting context. We're not talking about law enforcement patrol. We're not talking about military doing any sort of raid. We're talking solely in the civilian world, because this all changes when you start moving from mission set to mission set.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whereas as in a civilian self-defense role, PIDs just as, if not more important at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have just the weapon-mounted light, you're going to be, the only way you PID something is by pointing a gun at it. So, yes, while having both is the better option, what we don't see a lot is that people are not, they're just buying the gun with the light, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't carry a light on them. Like, I'll use my cell phone if I need an administrative light, which is true. Yes, I use my cell phone a lot for administrative lights. That's something that you should, that is a very easy fix. Now, taking that and trying to do a building, like, a room clearing, not even room clearing, just basic PIDing.
Yeah. Bump in the night, you get out of bed, go see something. Yeah.
Because so a lot of guys will say they're that bump in the night gun is, I'm going to grab my AR, I'm going to grab X, Y, and Z. And I wanted to do an Instagram reel on this, so I'll probably get it out before this one shows. But just the thought process behind it here: bump in the night, you grab nightstand. For me, my nightstand gun is a Glock Gen 4 with a TLR 1 on it. Or I have a shotgun with a light on it.
Mm-hmm.
You go downstairs, the whole thing of the reel is going downstairs, and you find out it's your kid that woke up and wants to get a drink of water.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're pointing a gun at them to identify them.
Yep.
And and stuff happens when you're spooked. So if you come around a corner, there's someone in the kitchen that in your mind, you're kind of like, oh, there's nothing here. It's just I heard a bump in the night. And now you have a light and a gun pointed at somebody who was not supposed to be there originally in your mind, even though if it's someone you recognize.
Yep.
Now you have a loaded gun pointed at them. And kind of like that video, you sent me this video. It's from, I don't even remember what channel it was. It was like the body-worn camera of a cop.
Yep.
And the first thing I even just kind of watched was, it looked like the guy just ND'd into a civilian because he had a light, was searching with a gun and a light.
Yeah, and I'm not, to be honest with you, in that video, in that particular video, what was
I rewatched it, I was completely wrong, but that's why we went on that time.
Yeah, so in this particular video, law enforcement officer shows up to a house. There's a domestic happening, some type of argument or something. He walks up to the front door. He hears a woman's voice screaming, like something like,
help me.
Help me. Yeah, help me, God, help me. And it's like that whole crap, I'm about to die type of screaming. And he knocks on the door.
Politely.
And then the next thing you hear is a gunshot. And you can't tell.
From him.
Is it from him?
I think it's from him.
Okay. I thought it was from the man. Yeah, the suspect. Yeah. And then there are a few more shots, which I think are the suspect's shots shooting into the woman. As you are watching the body cam of this police officer retreating, and just the breakdown of the YouTuber ends up breaking down this incident, and I think he did a pretty fair assessment of what was going on with it. I would love to hear your take on it.
We're not going to get on that tangent.
Okay.
The reason I brought that up is because there's plenty of videos you can see it online. I think there's one in St. Louis that happened in. I think the mid 2015, 2016, where you can watch it. It's this cop. She's clearing a building, and she's clearing it with her light on. And there's a guy. It's a really weird. It's like a rundown kind of apartment building, and there's a guy. There's a mattress leaning against the wall, and there's a guy behind it, kind of holding it up, kind of leaning against the wall. And they clear the entire room. Everyone's like high-fiving, like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, she peeks behind her with that light and sees the guy and just instantly shoots him.
Oh, oh wow.
So
yeah,
and
he was. I would assume he was unarmed.
Unarmed, just a guy hiding behind a mattress. I mean, he shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah.
But but going back onto the original tirade, we focus. So this community that we're part of, they see something, they purchase it, and they they parrot it. I
Yeah.
think is a very, very common thing. It's, hey, I see Grand Thumb has a Glock 19 with an X300. I see Lucas with TRX arms. Like, everyone carries a Glock with an X300. Therefore, I shall buy a Glock with an X300.
Yeah.
And then, but they don't have a handheld light on them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where I would say there should be more emphasis on buying gun, holster setup, handheld light.
Yep.
And then later on transition to the weapon mounted light. But even then, that's kind of like the, let's push that down a little bit further down the road.
Yeah, and we so we're recording on a Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh my goodness, man!
I lost a day too. Don't worry.
So we're recording on a Wednesday, and just this past Friday, Jefe and I went to the indoor range, and just did some drills, some cold start drills, some dot torture. We did the bear drill. What was the other one that we worked on? Do you remember?
We did. It's called the Eleanor drill. It's from Sage Dynamics.
Okay.
It's I think 3 to the body, 1 to the head at like 3 yards.
Yeah. And
you were the only one that hit the 1-inch dot.
Yeah, you have a 1-inch dot that you're supposed to hit, and I luckily hit that thing. But we also incorporated handheld and weapon-mounted lights as well in that training, and you obviously can see a dramatic decrease in your, in some cases, shot probability, right? Or hit probability rather, and then your splits. I mean, it's just a lot slower, especially if you're using a handheld in the modified FBI, where you're holding the light kind of above your head at a 45-degree angle away from you, and you're shooting one-handed. Obviously, your splits and your shot time overall is going to be really, really slow. The one we were working on, I think it was a 2.5 second par time, and I think we were probably pushing close to 4 or 5 seconds.
Was it that Eleanor, or which one was it?
Eleanor, I think.
Eleanor.
Yeah.
Well, so why? Yes, that is correct. If you are using a handheld, and one hand has the handheld, one hand has the gun, there's obviously going to be a decrease in performance. But at the same time, with that decrease in performance, you're going to not be pointing a gun at somebody that might not be might not need a gun pointed at them.
Sure.
As what's the tried and true thing? Speed's great, but accuracy's final.
Yeah.
So
isn't it what?
Wyatt Earp.
I
think it's a tribute to him. I don't know if that's actually
I don't really what he said, but
I watched the movie Tombstone over and over again. He never said that once.
Well, did you watch Wyatt Earp though? With Kevin Costner.
There's only one Wyatt Earp movie, and it's called Tombstone.
No, there's actually several.
No, there's only one. It's kind of like what Robin Hood movie you're like? It's like the Kevin Costner one. No, Prince of Thieves. Prince of Thieves is obviously the superior Robin Hood. Obviously the superior.
Are you sure?
one.
No, man. Freaking, what's the one? That
I
just came
don't.
out?
Wesley from Princess Bride. I don't know his name.
No. There was another one that was the dude that played Gladiator.
Oh,
Russell
Kurt Russell. Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
That one was terrible. Absolutely. And then they had like
great.
one or two of them where they did There was that video, like the viral archer that found the secret hidden technique of archery from the Persians, and could shoot so many arrows super fast. Do you ever see that video?
I never saw that one.
Oh, it's a great video to watch because it's just a fun time.
Okay.
But there's an entire Robin Hood movie based off like CQB archery.
Okay, because that's a thing. But back to lights.
Yeah, back to lights.
I'm sorry. I'm still not swayed from my setups and how I like to run things. The two EDCs that I switch back and forth from is the P365X Macro Comp with a TLR7A. And then I also have a P10C with a TLR7A as well. And I really like that setup. It's a pretty decent, powerful light. It gives a little bit more weight to the muzzle end of the pistol. So a little bit Not it's probably marginal if at best, but a little bit of compensation, to help. And it still is what 600 looms, I think.
Yeah, I think they're about 600-700
Yeah.
looms.
So, I think those work well, and at the very least, it is, I guess, a security blanket at the end of the day. So,
What handheld do you carry every day?
handheld is the not Maglite, Surefire G2.
Okay.
With a therm
Ring.
Yeah, therm switchback, wasn't it?
Yep, switchback.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, out of curiosity, so, and this is where I'm trying to get to. It's a normal day without your man purse. If you had, let's say you couldn't bring your man purse, or the everyday just kind of going out, do you carry that all? Like, do you carry your G2, or you say no? I got light on my gun, and I'm good. It's good enough for government work.
I would say that more times than not, I've been caught without my Surefire G2.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to kind of get alluded to is. I much rather have, and this is just me personally, I much rather have a gun with no light and a handheld, because if you walk out with a gun with no light, you're like, oh, I need a handheld because I have no light on my gun, compared to it's fine enough. It's good enough. Like right now, like this wonderful Goon Beam EDC version 3, I think this is the version 3.
Yeah. Where'd you get that?
I don't know, some crazy stalker gave it to me.
That's cool.
For Christmas.
That's cool. Merry Christmas.
But no, it's just having a good handheld light on you is probably going to do you more good than a weapon mounted light. I'm not. Again, this is not one of those you should get rid of your weapon mounted light. You should never carry a weapon mounted light on your handgun. What I'm saying is, if you're trying to weight it all out and say, here's 100 points. You have 100 points to spend. Carrying a gun 70, and it's either I can carry the remainder 30 points is either handheld light or weapon mounted light. The handheld's going to do you more good than not. And then if you have extra space, time, money, investment, add the weapon light to your handgun. And this is all talking about defensive handguns in a everyday carry scenario. I'm not talking about rifles. I think any rifle that has any sort of defensive use, or any long gun, shotguns, bolt guns, even bolt guns, I even say this for bolt guns, should mandatory have at least a light and some sort of optic on it. This is all, like, this entire conversation we've been having is the everyday carry. I'm carrying this handgun with me everywhere I go. This is how the setup should be. Yep.
Well, some of us are getting older, right? So
all of us are getting older.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but I'm advanced more so in age. I think I got at least 10 years on you.
Yeah, probably around there.
And I like to be in home at the house before dark, so I can have my cup of pudding before I go to bed or whatever.
Well, you know what? That's not 100% true. If you go to a movie theater at noon, is it going to be dark in there?
I mean, depends.
Hopefully, it's going to be dark in there. It'd be shitty movie theater was.
Yeah, right.
The kind of that fallacy, that logic fallacy is, well, if it's light outside, I'm going to be able to see. There's dark places in broad daylight. There's plenty of in my work. I have cleared buildings. Noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they're dark as shit because it's a dark building. This is dark buildings. And there's another point I wanted to bring up with just lights in general and this is one thing I've been trying to train myself to go back to, is if it's out, it's on. And everything that we've been seeing is even any sort of force on force thing. If you have a weapon mounted light on your gun, even if it's bright as shit outside, turning that light on still.
I remember this conversation. Yeah.
I remember we did this in my gym. It was I had I think it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was bright daylight.
It was bright as shit outside.
I disassembled my gun. It was just the frame only with the light, and we were just kind of messing around. I was like, hey, just check this out, and broad daylight hit you with that. I think it was a TLR-7. It was
Yeah, I think, and I was probably maybe 7 yards away, if
and
that. Yeah,
still just
Yeah,
like,
and
oh,
I was
that's
like,
really really bright. That
Yeah, it is,
still
yeah.
messes with my head.
yeah. So even having a light as
Mm-hmm.
kind of a deterrent, was a concept that I
Mhm.
had not taken into consideration. Even in the daylight,
Yeah.
having that shine in my face. You might think, oh, well, whatever. So does that mean that I need like the brightest freaking light ever in a handheld or a weapon mounted light?
I'm more of a I'm a candela whore, I guess. I'd much rather have high candela than I would have high lumen. That's just a me thing. I think that's a personal preference. I feel like there's the three things you kind of look at light is the lumens, the candela, and then the warmth, I guess, is the third category.
Can you break those three things down for those people that may not know?
And like I've explained to a 5-year-old,
because I want to interject, because everything that you see on packages right now, it's like 1200 lumens.
Yes. So lumens is just raw output, and that doesn't it say it doesn't. So if you see a flashlight that says 1,000 lumens, that just means that it can put out 1,000 lumens.
Mm-hmm.
Candela, if you want to think about it in layman's terms, how concentrated that beam is.
Right.
So the more candela it has, the tighter the as it's called the hot zone, whatever,
Right.
the brightest part of the flashlight. The more candela, the more condensed and bright that little spot. Now you won't have a lot of spill or like the illumination around it, but you'll have a very tight, noticeable area where it's lit up. And then warmth is just how is the kind of like the tone, the color of the light. If you get a warmer light, it's going to be kind of like the yellows and the ambers, and as you start getting cooler lights, it starts becoming the whites and the light blues, and those have their pros and cons too.
Right.
The warmer the light, the more less interference.
Sure.
Or less interference. It's less susceptible to interference compared to the whiter of lights.
Right.
So.
And one of the side notes is for candela, 1 candela equals 1 candle, essentially.
Yeah, but it's really hard to explain that to someone. It's like, yeah, if I have I think this one right here is like 120,000 candela, this goon beam that I have, and so it's like saying someone, yeah, there's $1 trillion right outside your door. Like, you can't fathom that. You just can't like physically, mentally fathom how ridiculous that is.
Yeah.
So,
and it was interesting because I can remember way back in my day, when I was in Baghdad in 2003, we had these handheld searchlights that were. Man, I think that they were sent to us. One of the guys in the platoon, I think, wrote a letter home or called home and asked a family member or somebody to bring or to send out these handheld searchlights. Those ones with like the pistol grip and the big freaking beam on it, And it was like the on the package, it was 1 million candela, Yeah. And I'm just like, oh wow, and you could legit in a spotlight shoot across these multiple houses that we were staying in our FOB, forward operating base. And yeah, it was going to be extremely useful. And it was extremely useful when we were doing our combat patrols at night. But now you see these small, compact, your goon beam is maybe 2.5 inches long? Nah, it's probably 3.
6 inches.
It's 6 inches, ladies. But no, it's more like about 4 inches long. And you said how many candela it is?
120K.
120,000 candela with how many lumens?
I want to say it's like 900.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the stats on it were.
So it is, I would say, obviously not. I mean, obviously there's way too much of a difference to compare the two, but realistically, everything that handheld that I did in or used in Iraq, I could easily have done with this light. Now, obviously, there would have been more with the handheld in Iraq than it is with your goon beam, but I still could have easily done anything I needed to do with that light that you have in your pocket.
I'd say the flashlight industry has been just booming for like the past 5-6 years.
I think so.
Beforehand, it was like if you wanted a good tactical flashlight, a very heavy duty, it was like I got a mag light or I got a Surefire, and that was kind of like the only two big names in the game. That Streamlight came out with their
Surefire's first weapon mounted light, and I don't even remember the nomenclature, but it was 30 lumens, and that was like revolutionary.
Well,
at the time.
If you think about the some of the first some of the first weapon mounted lights were on the British SAS, the dioptic lights.
Yeah.
And where they were D-cell mag lights that were essentially bolted to the top of the gun. And then what these mad lads did was they pretty much took they made like a little crosshair attachment for the front of the mag light. So when it shone, like when you turn the flashlight on, it would put a crosshair in the middle of your flashlight, so you can kind of like generally aim with it because your iron sights are just gone from there.
Yep.
And
can you imagine zeroing that?
There's no zeroing. It's just kind of like you just kind of assume where you're going to be aiming. So, the flashlight industry definitely. It's like the past 5-10 years. I mean, I still on my main rifle use. I think it's a Surefire M265 V2. It's that golden military issued one that has the KM2 head that can go from IR to white light.
I've got like one of the old school ones that's like, I don't know, it's like 6 inches, 8 inches long.
That is, you're showing me about 10 right there, man.
Yeah, it's probably about that long, but you have the ability to plug in a pressure pad to it, and then it has the red lens.
Yeah,
they can flip back and forth. I have one of those. It's brand new. I have never used it.
I have, it's like a golden one. It's really weird. It's supposed to be like coyote, but it turns out to be gold. I mean, spray painted it. But so, coming back from that divergent tangent, I'm not. It's not one of those things you have to go out and spend. Like I have a Cloud Defensive MCH, one of the first gen ones. Absolutely love that light. That thing is a monster. I have 2 goon beams now. I have a couple stream lights. I'm not saying you have to go out and spend $250, $300 on a handheld. Right. Go buy the macro stream, the Streamlight macro stream. It's a very good handheld light. Yeah. The new Wedge X something that came out, Streamlight that's a really good one as well, and that's only like $110. Just buy a good handheld light. Use it for administrative purposes. It's not going to be the best searching hand light in the world, but it's just something that you can have on you.
Yep. And just to give you guys a base of comparison, the Surefire G2X that I use, and then put that therm, I can never pronounce that, switchback on it. That's okay. So the flashlight's $80 on Amazon, and then the switchback is another I don't know, 15, 20 maybe. So less than $100, you can get a decent EDC light that you can either put into your pocket or put into a everyday bag or whatever the case may be. But don't forget that Olight is the only flashlight company with a confirmed kill.
Did you remove all those videos from your YouTube channel? I before you start talking about it?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I totally did. I will freely admit that at one point in time, yes, I was an Olight shill. They would send me stuff and give me like maybe a discount code and then an affiliate link, and if you guys would order something from them, which they're inexpensive lights, they're powerful lights, but at the end of the day, there are some major concerns, especially with this gentleman who ended up unfortunately losing his life, allegedly, by putting a Olight in his mouth while he was trying to work on his truck, and it exploded.
I mean, I don't want to defend Olight. This is someone that I don't want to do openly.
Sure.
But I bet you the SIG 320 has killed more people accidentally than an Olight has ever. Like Olights have ever.
I mean, at least it's injured more people anyway.
Yeah, it's hurt more people than. But yet everyone still, to include the military, still carries.
Yeah. And there's people who like will defend P320s. That
Or
they're
SIG.
better than the M9 or even the M9A1 or anything like that, So everybody's got their preference. Look, man, if Olight's your thing, you like Olight, it's cost effective for you, that's fine. Just be mindful.
Just don't put it in your mouth.
Don't put it in your mouth. Be mindful that there's been a number of complaints of people putting it into their pocket and then it just like starts to burn a hole through their jeans.
That's every flashlight, man. The amount of times that I've had my Cloud Defensive, the $350 flashlight, that I'll be sitting, and all of a sudden why is my leg super, super warm? It's been running in my pocket for the past 5-10 minutes, and I haven't even noticed it.
So just be mindful about what manufacturer you're going or what company you're going to purchase from.
I'd say the base the budget, if you are going to get a budget flashlight, Streamlight or maybe Phoenix.
Phoenix, I haven't
Phoenix,
seen those.
Phenix.
Oh right, yeah.
Phoenix or whatever. They make okay lights. They have a lot of like just out the wall things. They have the thing that's like the LEP lights, the like ELPs, whatever the like. It's pretty much a laser, but it's like an excited laser. Like,
interesting.
It's like and it's the throw on it. It's just outlandish.
Is it? I'll have to look into those. I want to say that maybe they've reached out to me to do a review. I'll have to look back through my emails.
It's like laser excited phosphorate flashlights.
That seems
LEPs.
familiar. Yeah. Sounds familiar.
It's we were where the Famous Dave's used to be.
Yep.
We were sitting in that parking lot one night while it was dark, and we were hitting like where the zoo was at, like lighting that thing up. So that's for those who don't live up near us. That's probably like, I would say at least 500-600 yards. It's ridiculous. Those lights are how powerful those laser excited phosphorates, I think they're called. They're just a beam about there's zero spill. It's 100% throw. So
yeah, that's that's I would say that's probably further than 500 yards. I would say it's close.
7, 8. It would be very good for a bolt gun. I'm just
going
to say that.
Yeah. So for sure. But so there is kind of our points on using a handheld versus a weapon-mounted light. One of the things that I will say is at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter why you use one versus the other. What really matters is making sure that you get training and understand why you should or should not use one above the other as well. I think everybody, at least between Jefe and I, we would both be in agreement that a handheld would probably be a good option for just civilian EDC use, walking around, looking for stuff, whatever the case may be. I am more of the proponent, especially with the TLR-7A. It's small, it's compact, it's really not adding much bulk to your pistol to have it on there. It does provide some benefits in different areas than just using it as a light. So at the end of the day, just realize what you should or should not be using for you, what's right for you, and then make sure you're doing some training with it. Like I mentioned already before, we went to the indoor range just last week. We ran some drills with lights, and to be frankly honest with you, we need to do that more often.
Yeah.
I haven't really done. I've done very minimal low light stuff. They used to do low light stuff with the IDPA matches there at JC.
Yeah.
At Godfrey's, and I took Chuck's class, which he's going to show some techniques. You may already know some of these techniques, but some techniques on how to kind of distract or disorientate people as you're like searching down a hall to kind of mask where your light's coming from. Chuck is a freaking wizard when it comes to that type of stuff. So definitely look at getting some low light training. And I know a lot of people's like, oh, low light, that means I need night vision. No, we're not talking night vision.
That's
talking
no light.
yeah, that is no light. We are talking low light, so you have to have a flashlight. So
I'm going to pitch one more thing. What are we at right now?
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good, yeah. So,
shoot, I just sent this out to a couple people. There is a study, and I'm going to try to get it while I'm sitting here rambling on. There's a study that came out on low light or with handguns. Shoot, I wish I had it right here. I'm going to see. I texted it to several people, and I'm going to try to find it here while I'm talking. Yep, here it is. So the Justice Evaluation Journal in 2000 and I think it was like 2021 had a study called an evaluation of light positioning on suspect accuracy in low light environments. So they actually did a study on what suspects are doing when it came to like hit probability on this is law enforcement officers when it came to handheld versus weapon mounted lights.
Okay.
And when it came to weapon mounted lights, so essentially the study was they had a dark room, like a dark square room. They had a curtain down the middle, and a cop, or the air quote cop, stood right in the center of that curtain and said, "Hey, you're to find a suspect and engage him when we lift this curtain. Ready, go."
Mm-hmm.
And they put the suspect in the same spot. You can read the study and see all the stuff. And they found that when the officer was using the weapon-mounted light only, it was a 77% hit probability that the suspect can hit him. Handheld was like 49%.
Interesting. Yep.
So it's a great study to look at.
Yep.
I don't do it justice here because we only got a short time, but go look it up. It's I'm going to pull it up one more time so we can say
if you have it, make sure you just text it to me. I'll put it into the description of this video so you guys can check this study out.
Justice Evaluation Journal and an evaluation on low light positioning on suspect accuracy in low light environments. And there's some stuff that's still like you kind of like this X, Y, and Z, but still a good study to just look up.
Yeah, well, in addition to that, like I said, we'll put that into the description of this video, but also Chuck Haggart talked about that in that low light class that I took. And one of the things that he noticed in all of the force on force engagements that he had been in force on force training, rather, whether using sim munitions and you have blue team and you have red team and they're going after each other. What they found was individuals who use their light in conjunction, whether it be a handheld or weapon mounted, if they use light in conjunction with their firearm, so they have their handheld light and they position it with their firearm. Do you know, I don't remember the name of it, but the technique where you're holding your flashlight.
I think it's called
Weaver, yeah. So you hold your flashlight in your non-dominant hand, and the light is at the bottom of your palm, and you're putting your firearm in the crook of your wrist as a support. Whether you're using that technique or just holding it, right up against your pistol, using the light on your pistol, what they found is that, at least what Chuck found, was that there were simunition hits closer to the light, closer to the firearm, to the hands, than if you held the light in the modified FBI pose, which
we need
is
a couple of new name with that. I think it's the modified FBI.
I know, right? So
modified search. I think it's actually
what
it's called, modified search.
But essentially, what that is your
off body.
Off body. Yep. So it's 45 degrees angle away from you and above your head. And the reason for that is the individual shooting at you is looking at that light. It is just inherent that when there is a big, bright, flashy thing, you're going to look at it. And under stress, when you're, got simunitions, quote unquote, simunitions in Minecraft coming towards you, you're trying to do the same thing and put rounds downrange as well. And that's naturally where things are gravitating to. So that is one, I guess, I don't know, really, that's one proponent to using a handheld versus weapon light. That's one of the things that he talks about that. But he also does something that's really great in his training is he allows you to choose what you want to do in some of the different scenarios that he pushes you in and then critiques you afterwards. So I thought that was really nice too. So
he's going to bully me again.
Yeah, he probably will, especially you. And the funny thing is
I need to get that shirt where it says "Bully me harder or I'll come," and just wear that to the class.
Oh my goodness. Okay, he will too. That's the funny thing. He'll gravitate right to that. So I don't know if Chuck Haggart is listening to the podcast, but if he is. Thanks. You're just keep on doing what you're doing because I think you're putting out some really good training.
I think one of my Instagram is like 450 people. I don't have like any noteworthy things except for the one time Chuck Haggart commented on one of my videos,
yeah.
And it was probably now. Granted, he was telling me I was going to hurt myself because it was like a video. It was me at the gym, and I was doing I think like 100 and. I was doing some like weighted dips or something, and he just commented, he's like, "That's how it hurt my shoulder."
Yeah.
That's all he said.
Yeah. I think we were doing 1 rep max on dips, weighted dips. Yeah. Man, that takes me back. Oh man, but really, that's what we've got this time. We're going to start wrapping things up.
What are we at right now?
We're at 50 minutes.
Okay.
So, what else you got? You got something?
No,
okay.
I sent you the picture of that shirt that I should get for that class.
There it is. So, at the end of the day, as we continue to preach, and we will continue to preach in each and every single,
man. We just put
advice.
I would say I'd put my autistic thoughts onto digital paper, and if you guys like it, great. If you don't, do whatever works for you.
Okay, so IMHO, train.
Oh yeah, TLDR.
Yeah, so that's really what it boils down to. Train.
I much rather have. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you again. Much rather have a guy that trained, a off-body handheld light shooting one-handed than the guy that just bought an X300 on his Glock, threw it on there, and is like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go save the streets."
Yeah, and this is something this is my 30 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and put my 30 seconds here first. I'm gonna read it right now. It says, I buy PSA until I finish enough training courses. Then I can afford the good stuff. No sense in buying Daniel Defense if I die first mag in the Walmart parking lot. Shit hit the fan, pop off. I'm not blessing someone with a badass Battlefield pickup and get canted sights from me. I stay petty. So basically, go ahead and spend what you can spend. Don't worry about trying to flex on anybody. Use that. Go train. Save your money. Buy something better later on.
I said that to you, didn't
I? Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
I sent it to a bunch of people, and I don't remember. I saw that, and that was 2023 in a nutshell. I feel like
yeah. So when it comes to your stuff that you use to train with, stay petty and do what you need to do.
Don't buy a PSA because I got bit. I got my SIG macro at home, comp at home did not work out as well as we planned.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out later.
We'll figure that out later. But
okay.
Go ahead. Your
my 30 seconds. Shoot, I have absolutely nothing prepared. Buy a handheld light. That's my 30 seconds.
Okay, use your 30 seconds. Which handheld light do you think that should be?
I'm a proponent of Goon Beam. It's not just because it's a cool name. They actually have some pretty decent lights for relatively cheap prices. I think the EDC V3 that Mark bought me, but I have the V2. I think it's only like $60, $60, $70.
Yeah.
18650 batteries.
Yep.
Comes with a charger and everything like that. So go check it out. I think it's goonbeam.com. Just Google Goonbeam flashlights. They have a bunch of other stuff.
Yep. The last thing is that so I bought the Goonbeam for Jefe, and in turn, he bought me a Snake Staff Systems, because I can never say that correct.
Yeah.
Yep, Snake Staff Systems.
Yeah.
One of their EDC tourniquets, And man, I really love that thing. It's in my pocket.
You actually put it in the sleeve this time? No.
We're not going to talk about that. So,
This guy,
join
sorry,
us next time.
No, not join us next time. So I bought this guy one of the snake staff systems EDC tourniquets and the I think it's called the snake wrap with it.
Yeah.
Not just the normal one. I didn't get the pro one. I got like the version 2. And so I gear checked him out of the brewery, and he pulls out and just falls apart in his hands. And comes unravels. Like, yeah, I got it right here. Look at this. It's like,
he intentionally bought me this really nice wrap that goes with it, and all that jazz. And
you know it's at, right?
Yes,
okay.
I do know where it's at.
Yes, okay.
Yes, it's right upstairs.
Have you broke the chem light on it yet?
No.
Oh, wow.
No,
okay.
Yeah,
mine broke like day 2.
Oh, day 2. Oh, well, so
it's not important.
Yeah. Incidentally, I just got a dozen chem lights in the mail, so there's that.
The little micro ones?
No, the large ones.
Okay, well, that's not
start putting in my kit. That's for another podcast, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here.
Should you buy chem lights? No.
Should you buy? What are the things you need
Steal
on your
them.
kit? Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, thank you so much to Atero Arms for supporting the channel. And hey, maybe we can get Goon Bean to start supporting the channel since
probably not. They're all from China. I bet.
Oh, okay,
so.
that's all right. That's all right. But at the end of the day, guys and gals, continue to train, continue to carry every single day, everywhere you go. Make sure you have first aid stuff going with you as well. There it is. He's got his.
And sweatpants.
He's going to protect me. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Take care, guys. We will do a special SHOT Show edition coming up here real quick, and we will catch you guys next time. With that being said, continue to live, laugh, and LARP.